He's got to be. You're on the punchline with Kelly Public and James Dominguez. And what's going on, guys?
Welcome to the punchline, huh?
Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you. You good?
Yep.
Yeah, man. So we had some we had some stuff going on this weekend, some fights, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me shut the sound down on one of these here devices. So you know what I'm about to say? I'm about to say the punchline. The only real show without an agenda. The only show that's not biased about anything. If I hear one more thing about Crawford and Gary Russell fighting, i these dudes are idiots. They're calling these fights out. They're making a big deal about a fight that's never going to happen.
Yeah. It's not. Ain't people calling out Crawford now? Ain't who else called him out around his weight? They're talking
Oh,
about.
Devin Haney did, and I can see that. But Devin Haney's still 135.
Yeah.
But if they want to make that fight, but Gary Russell, he's made this a sideshow now, and everybody keeps falling for everything Gary Russell says. You know what I mean? Oh, he's going to sign the fight, and he's making it look like everybody's ducking him. Nobody's ducking Gary Russell.
Mm-hmm.
But I see these other shows, they give credence and talk about this. And I'm like, do these guys even understand weight classes?
Right.
Have they ever put gloves on?
Hold on. I can't.
What are
I
you
can't.
doing?
I can't. I can't. You can't have that. Um. No, I was talking. My dad was doing something.
Uh,
Um. Yeah, but Gary Russell. I mean, that Devin Haney's more realistic.
I mean, does these guys understand weight classes at all? Dude, I can see your trunks for Jermaine Taylor behind us.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna get ready to ask you that if you've seen those.
It's back there for Jermaine Taylor. And
And
what gloves are those?
those are the Taylor gloves.
Are they? You should
Yep.
show the people the camera. Hey, Rocco says, what's up? Esteban says, what's up? Audio's good. Harvey's, what's up, guys?
You
Lewis
guys,
says,
you
what's
guys
up,
want,
guys?
you guys want it before we go on the show. You want a tour of the collectibles?
You guys want a tour of the collectibles here? Paul Banky, former world champ Paul Banky's on here. What's up, Paul? Sergio, what's up? Some of these guys focus on the hype build more than fighting. I agree, Rocco. Esteban, I would just use social media to gain attention. Loma versus Lopez. We'll get there, Paul. But for right now, I got Loma. We'll get into that, but Loma for sure, champ. Harvey's Crawford. Look, guys, look at all the. There's the memorabilia for the in Kelly's little in Kelly's dad's little basement for him, which is awesome. I think that Kelly's dad did an awesome job building that up for him.
Good, James. You keep talking. I'll keep putting them up. I'm
Right,
coming.
pictures,
Give me
guys.
2 seconds.
Look at that. Some of the ring covers for Kelly. The Trophy Kings too show the World Championships.
1, 2, 3, 4. Four, actually 5. Oh, you guys know that guy, right?
Who's that? I can't see.
Is Jerry Jones?
From Dallas, yeah.
Woody with the Jets, I think.
Oh yeah.
That's when they wanted me. They told me to stay up there. They were gonna show me fun stuff.
Hey, Simon's paintings of you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I have a sinus thing going on or whatever, some kind of allergies today.
All right. There's them guys. It's probably dark.
See it?
Who's that?
That looks like Oscar and
It
you,
is Oscar.
dude. Oscar's not no 6 foot tall or 5'11". He about 5'9.5".
It's Laurinaitis.
James Laurinaitis from Ohio State and the Rams. Any Pavic
Half,
memorabilia is awesome.
Hafner and Casey Blake, the
There
5
you go.
world champs from Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh yeah,
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Who was that? That was the head coach for Brown for Cavs.
Yeah,
Tressel,
yeah.
Bernie Kosar. I got the best one though. I got 2 funny ones.
Okay.
Brad Smith. Here you go. You ready?
Yeah.
Boom.
Hillary Clinton. Dude, we just lost all of our viewers.
LeBron. Look how short he makes me look.
Dude. With all
Good.
the talent that's come out of Ohio, anyone ever use a nickname the Buckeye Kid? Kelly, has anybody ever used the Buckeye Kid before?
They may have. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never heard it, but it'd be a good name. Dude, I used to hate fighting in Ohio when I was an amateur. Out of California, I hated fighting Ohio because you were destined for a good fight when you came to the state.
Mhm. Yeah, I just couldn't hear with your volume up. Um, yeah, but going back on that, with real quick, what I want to tap on that. So Haney and Russell, that's a lot more realistic, though.
Of course, yeah,
That's
100%.
something, and that's the fight that would interest me. Um, not going up to fight Crawford, a big welterweight.
But the thing is this: I think any of the media outlets that's giving hype to that, they make them look stupid as well. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because I see it like on some of these other shows, like Gary Russell and Crawford, and they're wasting time on this, and it's Gary Russell that keeps just. I don't think he's on his meds.
Something's going on.
Dude, did you see Crawford last night on ESPN? How big he was?
No, I didn't.
Dude, he was on ESPN. He was every bit of 160.
Any questions? What do we
Oh
want?
yeah. Ramirez or Taylor winner. They both lose some, in my opinion. You know, me and Kelly, I think we're pretty much on the same page with this. I think styles make fights. And it's going to be close. I got a 50-50 fight with Ramirez or Taylor. I don't know who, but I think styles make fights. I think their style complements each other.
It's a tough. I mean, I'm leaning towards Taylor right now, but
Yeah.
I usually like giving my pick. About 2 days
Like,
out from the fight.
yeah.
Um, but that's a toss up. That's a 50-50 fight.
Can't even, I can't even, hey, where's your title belts? Show them the title belts, Kelly.
Oh yeah.
You want to see the championship belts, guys? Oh, against Bud. Oh, I'm not even going to, who, Ramirez or Bud? Oh, I would have to take, I'd have to take Crawford. Crawford, I think, is the best fighter in the world.
Oh, that's I gotta show you that one.
Christine, hey, Christine, how are you? That's the first lady of boxing right there, Christine Lopez, the queen. He does have a big chip on his shoulder. Look at guys, the WBC belt, the WBO belt, the middleweight championship of the world, and a Kelly bobblehead in case you've never seen one.
I like that. That's WBC trophy. There's a WBC belt or a medal.
Yeah, that's the medals, and then that was your NA. Was that the NABF or
Yeah,
USBA? Who did you win that from?
Zuniga.
Zuniga, and there's the ring belt. Hey, focus on that ring belt a little bit. We can't see it.
It says it's in the back hiding.
I know you got to push it the camera down.
Oh, I ain't fucking with that. Okay.
Okay. Hey,
Dad,
your dad's gonna come here and smack you.
you come down here and fuck me up.
Yeah, he'll say, "Who told you to touch that?"
You motherfucker.
The coolest man cave in the valley. It is the coolest. It's not Kelly's though. And look, dude, I don't care what they say. There is no show right now that is showing real championship belts. You know what I mean?
Yep. I'll go back over and over and show you guys.
See,
I'm at the scream up for my dad. Be like, Dad, the meatloaf.
meatloaf.
Fuck.
Dude, he'll say gunner down. He'll say gunner down to bite you.
Yeah.
Scott
Um,
says the ring belt looks like the belt on Rocky. That's where they got the idea from for the Rocky belt was the ring belt because that belt's been around since 1922.
yeah. Oh, here's some questions. Uncle
All right,
Shem, they were saying Wilder had a busted bicep going into Fury rematch.
that's just
Uh,
another excuse.
yeah, Uncle Shem, Tyson was on Rogan saying he is taking stem cell injections, not smoking weed, and stop being vegan. I don't feel as good about Roy's chances now.
I
We don't know.
I don't
Uh,
know. I you know I don't know how 35 years of weed smoking is going to translate to him taking a few months off. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Who
Um,
knows?
real quick, I got Michael Donahue says, "What's up? Happy to be back, fellas." And Lion Killer podcast. What's up? How you doing, man? He Michael Donahue, you guys going to talk about Herring last night and also his upcoming fight with Frampton.
Of course.
We will.
Luis Ocasio, one of my favorite writers and one of my good friends in the sport, said no more Wilder excuses. It's true. His costume was 50 pounds. It's something always. Wilder just needs to fight. That's it. I don't want to hear. I don't care how much a suit weighed. I don't care if he tore his penis muscle or his dick root. I don't care. Just fucking fight. Um, Rocco says all Youngstown dads have basements with wood paneling and drop ceilings.
Um, First of all, I actually, before my dad bought the house off me, I put this basement together.
Youngstown dad.
But he just took it to another level with how he set everything up and creative. I could never have done that.
Uh,
It's beautiful.
Esteban said, "Yeah, it is beautiful. He put so much effort
Oh
into it.
yeah,
You know,
he just. I mean, they him and my mom, what they did, it was just amazing.
I
Just
would live in that little room right there. If you put a bathroom down there, I never leave that room.
there is one.
Is
So
there? Shit.
yeah, this is probably the nicest basement. I'm gonna have to duplicate it for my
You
next
just
house.
take. You should just buy your house back.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, Dad, let me buy it back.
Yeah.
Kobe and Peyton Manning use stem cell for their injuries, but it's not the fountain of youth. It's not the fountain of youth, and I know other people that's taken it and they've got good results. It depends. It depends on you.
It helps
Uh,
whatever the stem cell helps whatever injury you have. It's not
yeah,
really an enhancement. It's probably one of the best therapeutic ways to go, I guess.
yeah.
As far as injuries and everything else, stem cells great. I mean, it'll heal you. But if Tyson was already hurt training, then what the hell does that tell you?
Lewis says, nice hat, James. Go Army. Hey, guys, I bought this hat at TJ Maxx for $8 yesterday. It's not in a political affiliation. It's not in a, you know what I mean? It's just a cool ass hat and comfy one. That's why I like it.
Yeah, it is.
And I used to give those ones away, don't I? There's always someone that wants my flag hats. So I give them
It's it's,
away.
it's politically affiliated.
It is not. It is not. You liar. Take it back. So hey, let's get right into it. Let's get into Bam Rodriguez. What do you think about Robert's fighter Bam versus Rivera last night? I loved it.
Man, he looked good. Um, was a kid overmatched? I think so. I know the guy was a title contender, but it don't matter. I mean, he just the way he moved and smooth and fluent. That kid could fight, man. I can't wait to see more.
We watched that kid train in person. You remember what was it,
Yeah, I do.
January?
Yeah,
And
like I said, names is hard, but as soon as I seen his face, I knew exactly who it was.
saw him working with Virgil Ortiz Sr., remember with the mitts? And
Yeah,
I was like, Kelly, look at that little kid. And he goes, oh, that's Bam Rodriguez. I said, oh, shit. Okay, because he was like 112 pounds in there that day.
yeah.
So, yeah, but then when I saw him last night, I go, this kid has added a little bit of Virgil to him, the way that Virgil kind of uses angles and punches. So you can see that Virgil Ortiz influence on him, too. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And everything with bad
Absolutely.
intentions.
Emilio X says, "Great to have the show back, guys. Thank you,
Thank you.
Emilio. This is our third week back."
It is, guys. Nobody knows. We just been hiding the cut.
Yeah.
Darren says the way he pivoted, knocked out that kid. Hey, Darren, I was going to ask you, did you notice that? That's something that Virgil does in his fights. And a little secret was Virgil Ortiz had been working with Bam. We were there when he was working with him. So I think there was a lot of Virgil Ortiz Sr. in his training because the way he pivoted like that is not a Robert Garcia type training method,
No,
but it
but
is a Virgil.
and you know what? Virgil Ortiz Senior probably has been working with him. You know, the younger guys, and maybe that's the new trend over there too. We never know what they're teaching or what's going on. There's so many different things going on over on the West Coast.
But you know, we've known for a long time. Robert is not an ego-driven guy. He doesn't have. It's not just me. He has trainers, and he lets all his trainers share knowledge.
Absolutely. And do I agree with that? With, in Robert's case, and not just saying it, it's a different situation with Robert. Um, Robert didn't when I was out there. You know, Robert controlled it. He
Yeah,
controlled training. Other guys would go in and catch pads, but they were more so just to keep the fighter active on that day if Robert was busy. Um,
lucky
but
because you did have.
sometimes having other
Yeah,
trainers in there for a different look when a trainer needs it. Like some trainers should take it and take a
yeah,
different look and learn. Some trainers like Robert, they don't really need that. Robert's an open minded, and you said it earlier. He don't have the ego. Robert will always keep an open mind and keep learning. You know, and that's why he's at where he's at. Um, but I think sometimes the only problem when you have too many different people showing you, one's going to overlap what the other one's teaching you. And what I
true.
mean by that, if I'm working with somebody and I'm doing it for a certain reason and I got them
Yeah,
because something's going wrong, and then this person comes in and says, "Well, I noticed this wrong and I want them to do this," it could totally be affecting what I'm trying to work on. You know, and so that happens with camps, and sometimes trainers will overstep on that part of it, but whatever Robert's doing now is working, so I wouldn't change
I
it.
well, I think a lot of it is when you have good communication with your assistants and you're all on the same page. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I know sometimes me and you'll be in the gym with the fighter, right? And I won't say much, but every once in a while I'll throw in something that's kind of broad and not specialized, something that they should know that everyone can agree on, right?
yeah.
Like you'll help me tell your fighter, keep your left hand up. You can't argue with keep your left
No,
hand
that's
up, can you?
no.
You know what I mean? Or you can't argue with, hey, get on your toes. You can't argue that.
Yeah, the basics, and sometimes the trainer may miss that, but yeah, and what I'm talking about is some of the breakdown, some of the technique and form and mechanics,
Yes.
um, all that stuff. There's certain things. Uncle Sham says, which Charlo is more likely to lose this month? I think the one that already lost. What
Yeah.
is it? Junior middleweight?
Yeah. Jamel.
Jamal. Daniel De La Rosa says, "What's up, guys? Pavlik, would you consider an exhibition match with De La Hoya? I don't. It depends on how much De La Hoya weighs.
It depends how much stacks of money's in there, right?
Yeah,
Dude, let me ask you this, Kelly. Would you do it for like $5 million for a 3 round exhibition with De La Hoya?
probably.
Dude, you
Yeah,
don't need the money. But if they're
I
gonna
know,
say, hey, we're gonna
but
give, we're gonna give you 5 stacks.
if it's an exhibition,
Yeah.
probably,
We're gonna give you
probably.
5 mil, Kelly, just to see you fight him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm fighting Tyson. I understand I'm 250, but people got to understand Tyson fought heavyweight. I fought middleweight. It don't matter, you know. It's
De La Hoya's 210. Right now, you
yeah,
guys can meet at 200. You know what I mean?
but you know, it was funny about that with some of these people when they say you retire too early or make the
Yeah.
comeback or we want to see you. I feel like asking them like if you would you go up to a construction worker that been retired for 4 years and tell them, hey, come here, shoot that nail gun in your knuckle one more time. I miss seeing it. You know,
Yeah.
can you do that for me?
Yeah. Hey, Kelly Rockwell's a great question. I'm going to give you the question first. Who is the greatest trainer in boxing, in your opinion?
Right
One,
now,
ever, ever. I have mine. I have mine. It's not who you guys think.
I'm probably going to have to lean towards the one that I know Emmanuel Stewart gets a lot of shit because they say that a lot of people came to him after Hearns.
He's the greatest. He's the greatest, Kelly. For me, he's the greatest trainer ever.
I got to put him up there. Um, let's not forget. I'm not saying this because he's our homie. Right now, in 10 years from now, Robert Garcia has a great argument. Nobody and nobody could argue that.
He's put out 16 world champions. How can you argue
And he
that?
just tied. Didn't he tie Emmanuel
He
Stewart?
tied it. Yeah, he tied him.
And how many years before?
Yeah,
Lester.
25.
James
Um,
Burrell. Como was looking weak. KP. Maybe borrow a cap from James. What a douche pickle, James.
what do you say?
So my comb over is looking weak. Borrow
Oh
cap.
man.
I just
Oh
shaved two
man.
days ago.
Dude,
That's faded up nice.
Kelly, I think it looks great, buddy.
It's still peach fuzz on that.
Hey, I think it looks great, man. You can't do
Uncle
nothing.
Uncle
Eh,
Shan says Eddie Futch. There's so many good trainers though. There was
Eddie Futch is
Juba
great
was
too.
pretty good.
You know what? For me, we just lost him. We just lost him.
Brother Nassim
Brother Nassim was one of the greatest trainers. I have him
was.
up there in the top three.
Some of
Uh,
them guys, I hate to say it, like Freddie Roach. I mean, he's getting people. Freddie Roach is one of the guys that really, once he got a world champion, they just started coming to the gym. That
yeah,
was, that happens.
yeah,
But I could say like Robert Garcia, there was a guy that really pretty much started. He had a little bit of help being an Oxnard, but he made champions. There was guys that he made champion.
it's true. Kelly Morgan said, James, you need to move your camera. Your muscles don't fit the screen. Thank you, lovely. Somebody appreciates me. She's so awesome. But
I know you've been flexing them enough on here already.
I'm
Damn,
not
last one.
flexing. I'm not flexing. I swear, dude. I just want to show my shirt. Look,
You're
fake
fucking.
taxi,
You're
fake
turned. You're
taxi,
turned 4 shades of purple already. Flexing
dude.
those muscles.
Look at that fake taxi,
That's a great shirt.
dude. You
That
have
that
one,
was a great story on that one.
dude. That was. Hey, but no, like for me, I think Virgil Hunter is a fantastic trainer. I think Rudy Hernandez is a great trainer. I think there's
Rudy
those,
Rudy Hernandez is one of the top.
and you get guys like that, and there's
Yeah, I mean Rudy Hernandez is just so used to the corner. I mean, there's a guy that does cut man training. He fought. There's a guy when it comes to the corner,
yeah.
everything moves slow motion for him.
Hey, Paul wants to know Joe Goosen. What do you guys think about him? You know what I think about Joe. Joe was my trainer. Joe
Uh,
was one of my trainers, of
Yeah,
course.
Joe's another one. I mean, the accolades don't lie. You know what I mean? The people
Yeah,
that they've worked with don't lie. The world champions that they trained don't lie. People can say what they want about certain trainers, but most of them, even I'm not going back on what I said. Freddie Roach, to me, out of all the trainers, really was had guys come to him because of
yeah,
one world champion,
yeah.
but that still don't put to the side that Freddie Roach is a world class trainer. He
For
is. I
me,
mean,
for me, Kelly, here's what it is. For me, I don't know, but for me, a great trainer is someone that can teach offense, defense, and break down technique all the same. Not one thing stronger than the other. Freddie Roach is one of those guys that's great offensively, but defensively he lacks, and that's to me. I mean, just my opinion. I'm not saying that's the way you feel or anybody else, but he lacks defensively, and there's a lot of systemic mistakes he makes. Like he's never corrected Manny Pacquiao lunging and some of those things, those defense lapses we've seen in Miguel Cotto
you
early
know
on.
what though? But a lot of it comes down to the fight too. You're not a trainer ain't going to have all the right things to say every round because
No,
some shit's just going to happen. Some rounds is just going to be more of a pep
yeah.
talk. But a good trainer also during a fight is going to tell you things that you need to do that's going to somewhat help or and try to get into your head to have you understand what he's saying. Um,
Here's my
there
thing,
there
Kelly.
there's they have a game plan.
Yeah,
they're telling you strategy and and you hear a lot of that out of Robert. You heard a lot of that out of Brother Nassim and a lot of his guys.
I've heard
Emmanuel
some of
Stewart.
Manuel Stewart definitely. I've heard some of the great advice that that wasn't Emmanuel Stewart said that. Emmanuel Stewart said the mistake that trainers make is they tell their fighters what they're not doing. They spend so much time telling them what they're not doing, and they don't spend any time telling their fighters what they need to do in the ring. The
Yeah,
fighter, if he's a world champion, he knows what the fuck he's not doing. He knows
yeah.
why he's getting hit. Spend that time trying to fix it.
Um, and that
Plus, no,
another Lomachenko documentary coming out should be interesting. James Burrell said that. Uncle Sham, I like Virgil, but it seemed like Ward was the only one that improved under him and actually followed his instructions well. Thanks for the content. John,
Harvey,
Uncle Sham said worst trainer, John David Jackson, kind of
I
sucked.
agree. I agree, 100%.
Abel
Harvey said
Sanchez is most overrated.
Abel San. No, I would say Abel Sanchez. Abel Sanchez spends more time talking than training. So
Yeah.
um, I never got over the fact the way he did Canelo and he did Triple G. because he spent more time berating Canelo, making fun of Canelo, than having a game plan for Triple G in part two. So
Yep.
that you know, but Harvey says, "What do you think of Buddy McGirt?" I think Buddy McGirt spends a lot of time trying to trade styles in fighters.
You
Instead of
can't.
trying to fix little things, he tries to change
Yeah,
styles.
you can't do it. I mean, you gotta. And again, going back on that with Garcia, and I'm going to use him. Um, Garcia, like he said, he goes too far, and it's true. I mean, this is a true statement. When he got me, too far along. You're too. Well, I'm not going to change your style. He goes, there ain't enough time, and that's 1,000% true. But what he could do is sharpen my skills and my tools that I already have. My style, and there's
Yeah,
a lot you could do. You know, it's hard to explain it, but I guess the best way I could do it to start over and break a fighter who's been doing it so long, to break down mechanics and change his style,
yeah,
it's impossible. But to show him little things and to have him throw different things, that's easy to do because the fighter fights for a living. You train every day. So those things, when they get introduced to you and you start working on them and you pound it in your head, yeah, you could do those. But changing a style, trying to take a 5'7" slugger and turn him into a Pernell Whitaker, no, it ain't going to happen. It ain't.
Um, I want to tell you too, Kelly. Larry brought that up. Congrats on Rudy Hernandez's win with La Princesa. His son had his pro debut this past week and won by KO.
Oh, sweet.
Rudy's son did.
Awesome.
Um, Esteban says Nacho Burstein is a legend. I agree. I like Nacho too, but he's another one for me that's defensively. What's the word I'm going to use? He's very offensively minded. He's not defensive minded. And for me to put a trainer in a great category, I want him to be equal in both. You know what I mean? I think
Then
Barrera took, and those guys took, Morales took a lot of punches with these guys under Beristain, you know?
and at some point though, that's the fighters liking too. I mean, the fighters endure most of everything. No matter what, they're the ones that got to go through the fights. They're the ones that got to train, and then usually a lot of times when they lose or fuck up, the
Yeah,
trainer points the finger at them. Um, but sometimes it is though. Like sometimes the trainer could be working with a fighter and they just like. For instance, Gotti under Buddy McGirt. Buddy
yeah.
McGirt was trying to make Gotti a boxer, and as soon as Gotti got hit with a hard shot, he threw all that shit out the window and went back to banging.
He did.
Now, can I blame Gotti's original trainer for that? Absolutely. Whoever he came up with, that was instilled in Gotti, and that's his style. And I do blame that's both half and half. That's his
Yeah.
first trainer and Gotti. That's their mentality.
Well, there was a good one. Oh, also, I look at the way Virgil Ortiz Jr. flourished under Robert Garcia, as opposed to when he was with um, Diaz.
Diaz,
When he
yeah,
was with Diaz, Joel Diaz is a good trainer himself, but
they are
he
good
seemed to
trainers.
flourish. He seemed to flourish under Robert Garcia a little bit different because Joel Diaz is an offensive trainer. He doesn't teach offensive defense the same way. And I think
Yeah.
Robert Garcia had that mix, and I think he made Virgil a lot better fighter. Plus Virgil has his dad, and he has Hector Beltran as a fucking outstanding trainer.
Yep.
Hector
Yeah, I'm sure
Beltran
them
is one of
guys
the
all
most
go over.
underrated guys in Texas.
Yeah, I'm sure them guys go over and talk. Daniel De La Rosa says Ben Davison, aside from boxing training experience, he helped bring Tyson out of depression. And a trainer that can do that is a good trainer in my book.
Well, he's a good teacher,
That's a good
good teacher, good role model.
motivational.
That's two different things, you know.
Yeah,
Guadalupe said, here's a good one for you, Kelly. Guadalupe Gonzalez says, who would be a respected challenge to Canelo with his next opponent if you had to pick?
Bivol,
We just said at the same time, Bebo,
Bivol definitely.
Bebo, or you know what? Um, uh, Ramirez or
Yeah, I think
Ramirez.
Canelo should just stay at 168. That's his better opportunity. I think some of them guys like Bivol and Benavidez, um, got better skills than the guys at 175 like Beterbiev. But I just think
Yeah,
175 against a guy like Beterbiev. I know Canelo went up and beat Kovalev.
that's
That's
different.
great. That's cool. That's a hell of a accomplishment. But
Yep.
you're talking about a weight class that makes a big difference going up to 175 against them guys. He's going to have a hard enough time against Bivol and Benavidez. Personally, if it was me, okay, you won the junior middleweight, you won at middleweight, you won at super middleweight, you won at light heavyweight. Go back down to middleweight, clear it out even more, clear out the Charlos and Andrade,
Andrade, yeah.
and be kind of like ready. You already pretty much have a Hall of Fame career. I think he has a Hall of
Yeah, I
Fame
do
career
too.
now. Um, you stay in there, you're fucking around at 168, and I think Canelo is a tremendous fighter, but he's fucking around too long, and he's going to get something that he don't want.
You know what? Play stupid games. What do? You win stupid fucking prizes eventually.
Yep.
Darren says Bomac and that crew has a nice little stable. I agree. I think Bomac is another one of those great trainers out there.
Yeah.
I
James
think
Roll goes, where would you rate Angelo Dundee?
up there, I would have to rate him up there. He's put out great fighters, but that was a different time period, a different style of fighting.
Who do you work with lower than heavyweight?
Duran,
How,
Robinson. He
but
worked with Robinson a little bit.
yeah.
He
But
worked with
Duran, where was Duran at in his career at that point? Was that the beginning or
really like 70, 71, 69,
was it the beginning?
Yeah. He helped
Um,
out, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think as far as knowledge, he was probably from the old school, from those early 1900s, 1920s, and I think he was a great trainer. I don't
yeah,
know how well it translates today.
Uncle Sham says Reynoso is a good trainer. He will make Ryan Garcia better. I don't know about Oscar Valdez though. He hasn't looked good.
That's his issue. That's just being Oscar Valdez being Oscar. But
Yeah.
I think Reynoso and is a great trainer.
Going back, I think the Diaz brothers, they're both training. I think they're good trainers. I really do. I listen like some of their fights with their guys in the corner. Oh, going
Yeah.
back on that, the fight with Emmanuel Stewart, Jermaine Taylor. When I fought him, when I watched that fight on tape, I mean, he was giving Jermaine great instructions in that fight, as much as you can.
You
I
can
mean,
lead a horse to water, right?
yeah. Well, Bear Cabelli could carry a horse to water and make him drink it.
Right. Um, It says right here, JJ Meek, Zion's dad, said you cats definitely know boxing. Kelly does. I'm just following along. I'm just hanging on the coattails. Um, Esteban says Andrade or is 160 in the rearview mirror. I don't know if he can make it. Why not? You know what I mean?
I don't know the situation with him. I don't know if fighters are ducking Andrade or if he's just not fighting because of promotional. What?
It's a little of both, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Andrade has a style that not a lot of people want to fight. You know what I mean? He can make people look really foolish.
And I hate to say it, it's a style that not many people want to watch, and
He's
I'm not
boring. Yeah.
I'm not knocking him for it. I mean, hey, listen, if it works, and it's obviously working, I'm just saying it's really not for me. I don't care. I watch it,
Yeah.
but
Guadalupe says, Kelly, what's your take on the heavyweight on Du Bois? I think he has a star power to be a force in a couple years. I think he's good, Guadalupe. I think he's going to be a good fighter.
who is it?
We, Du Bois, Du Bois.
I don't know much on him to be honest. I haven't paid. I'm sorry. I ain't gonna lie to you guys on that one.
Yeah, I know him. I know of him. I've seen him fight. I think he's going to be good. The heavyweight division just develops so slow.
It does, and you get so many guys coming up that usually become bust. Uncle Sham, like what's the even though the like Big Baby Miller. I mean, there's a guy that I was excited to see, and you see what happened with that one. Uncle Sham says they are putting Andrade and Jacobs on the same card in November, implying they may fight in the future.
Why not? Why not? They need to do something.
And Jacobs better push faster for that too, because he's on borrowed time.
Kelly, Harvey Butler said, who's the best father trainer? Is that all time or now? But all time, I would say probably Papa Trinidad or Papa Cotto, maybe, or Tony Ayala Sr. There were so many great father son trainers.
I thought Jack and Shane were pretty good.
Jack and Shane were great. They did
Um,
have a falling out, though, eventually.
which as we talked about, I think it was last week or the week before, that
Yeah.
sometimes unfortunately becomes common. Um, I would say the guys you're mentioning. Who else? I forgot about Trinidad. Who was the guy right after we just talked about? They fought. Oh, Virgil Ortiz is one.
But we'll see. We'll see how that develops out later on. I don't want to put Virgil in the category of Trinidad and Cotto right now.
Nah,
Floyd
soon you
Sr.
can. Soon you
But
will.
Felix, I can't put Floyd Sr. there because Roger trained Floyd for most of his career. Floyd Sr. popped in and out a couple fights here and there. It
Yeah,
was Roger. Roger developed Floyd. Um, um, any news on who's
Dubois.
Mikey Garcia's fighting? Furman, I'm telling you right now, I don't have 100% on this, but I'm telling you, watch the news. It's going to be Manny Pacquiao and Mikey. Watch.
Crafty Compass came on and said Daniel Dubois. He says pronounced Dubois, like Dubois.
Dubois. I said that.
Thoughts on White versus Povakin rematch? Who wins? Too soon? I think it's too soon.
I think it's soon. I think Povatkin will get him this time, or not
Yeah,
Povatkin. I think White will get him this time.
I do too. I mean, if from that last fight, how that was going, Povakin got lucky.
Yeah. Dana said,
Champ said Kelzagi's dad. That was good. You know what? That worked.
yeah, Enzo was good.
I forgot about that.
Dana just said Roy Jones and his dad were good. As an amateur, they were good, but Al Murkison trained Roy as a pro, not his dad.
Yeah, it's like asking a question like that's like asking what was your favorite movie of all time or your favorite song. You're gonna rattle one off the top of your head, and then you're gonna sit there 2 hours later and be like, "Oh fuck, I forgot about this one." There's so many. There are so many good father son matchups.
Felix said, "Yeah, Pac and Manny will fight. That's why Pac was on this. That's the same guy, Felix." He said Pac and Manny will fight. That's why Pac was on the Spence fight. He wasn't there for Errol. No, it'll be Mikey and Manny. That's who's been in negotiations for a year. It's probably gonna happen. They're close to each other's size. It's not a big risk. You know what I mean? Like it would be
Who's that
fighting
packing
Crawford.
who?
Mikey
Danny.
and Manny and Mikey fighting.
Oh,
It's not a huge risk like it is moving up to fight for Manny, moving up to fight some monster in size, and Mikey's fighting
yeah.
somebody smaller. Why not? And there's big
I
money
think
in
that
it.
might be a good fight for both of them, depending on where they're both at with their career.
Furman. He said the Big G was a great trainer. We didn't even bring up the Big G. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As a father trainer, he trained Mikey and Robert.
And Robert, Uncle Shan says White wants to rematch immediately, so Povakin can't go back on Royd's cycle. Not that White is any cleaner.
I don't know if he
I
tested
don't know.
positive. I'm not gonna put that on that man because he never tested
Andrade
positive.
hasn't proved himself yet. He looks great in spirits, but looks average versus C-level guys other times. I can't put a grade on him. I mean, he's fighting. He's beating who's in front of him. I don't know. It ain't his fault. So
You know, it's funny. We didn't even bring up the Big G, but it's true. The Big G is a great trainer too, and produced 2 world champion sons, not
yeah,
one. And if you count Fernando, who was Big G was Fernando's dad from the time he was 7 years old.
yep,
That's Fernando's son, his father. Fernando didn't have a dad.
yeah,
Big G was his father, so you count 3.
yep.
Esteban says, remember Derek Gainer, Roy Jones' buddy, whatever happened to him? Derek
Huh,
Gainer was a good fighter. I
he
sparred with him.
was.
I sparred with him back when I was a kid. Derek Gainer was out of Pensacola area too. He was a good fighter, world champion.
Man, that was a good
Um,
call.
I don't know whatever happened with Derek Gainer, but he was a good fighter.
James goes, there's a lot of people online pushing for Gary Russell versus Devin Haney. I can't see any sense in it. Can you guys?
As
Yeah,
about I
I
can see
can.
more than I can see more than fighting Crawford, right?
Yeah, I see it more than Crawford. I mean, I guess if it's to get Gary Russell in the ring, fuck, I'll see him fight Crawford. I mean, I don't know at this point. I mean, he don't fight. I don't get if he fought Tyson. It's
Dude,
get Gary Russell back in the ring. But Devin Haney is more realistic than Gary Russell. I guess what we were trying to say like last week on it, Gary Russell it should be calling guys out in his weight class or anybody because he's not active. I mean, I don't know how many times, 2 times in 3 years he fought or 3 times
yeah,
in three
two
years.
times in 3 years, yeah.
Um, let's see him fight. And Devin Haney is a little more realistic than Terrence Crawford at 147. So that's
Yeah.
what we're trying to say. I mean, it's I don't want to see him fight Devin Haney. I think going back, call out Leo Santa Cruz, call out.
That Kelly, that's my issue. He's had offers from Leo Santa Cruz and turned down. He had offers from Navarrete and he turned Navarrete down.
Yeah,
Inoue said he'd come up to fight him. You have these dudes at his weight class or fucking near it. He's turning them down, but he's going after fighters he knows he can't get.
That's what I'm saying. Again, I'm not talking. I'm not trying to do it on purpose. I'm thinking that it's more so like if he loses to a Paul Craw or not Paul, Terrence Crawford, he looks he looks better. Okay, hey,
Yeah.
look, I went up. I'm ballsy. I fought a guy at 147. He beat me. Um, that's the reason why I lost.
He looks like Mikey against Spence. Hey, Mikey, I moved up. I fought a welterweight. It didn't work out, but guess what? I went out with balls, right?
Yep. He says I could see Haney versus Linares, and then Young Yoda says Punchline is back. Where you guys been? Quarantine, man. It's been crazy.
Quarantine.
We've been back on 3 weeks though.
Yeah, we have. It just Guadalupe says, Kelly, is it important as a raising pro that you get some good sparring with champions? That's for you.
I think it is. I think it's a hell of a learning experience, but I think in moderation. We tapped on that last week a little bit too. Sometimes going into these big camps and sparring monster after monster, world champion and top contender, it takes a toll. It takes a toll on a young fighter. Sparring sessions can be brutal.
Yeah.
And sparring's that's what it's for, is for you to try to get as sharp as you can. But so I wouldn't as know as if you're going to spar that guy 4 times a training camp or five
Yeah.
times. But if you want to go in once or twice, a couple of rounds,
Yeah.
and get some and learn some shit, I think it's a great idea. I think it's fantastic for a young kid, and it's a hell of an advantage
Yeah.
to be able to have that.
You know, you know, Rudy Hernandez told me one time when it comes to world champion sparring, and it's true. And I said it. We said it last week. Iron sharpens iron. But you know what iron actually does to you? Iron actually dulls iron if it's used too much.
Yeah,
You
it
know, so
does.
sometimes too much of one thing is not good.
Yeah, or too much of a good thing ain't good.
Yeah, it's not good. Dana says, you think the same difference between Loma and Rigo is something till you see Gary Russell next to Haney or Bud. And it's true. But even that size was not as big as Haney and, Bud and Haney next to. Gary's a small guy.
He is.
Loma was a lot bigger than Gary Russell when they fought. Could you imagine Crawford, who was at least 165 last night?
That's what I mean. It's a totally different. It's totally different. It's yeah, Crawford. I don't get it. I'm not understanding. Maybe it's just during a heated situation because of the beef
Yeah,
going on and the back and forth bickering between
yeah,
the two. That's probably why. Maybe I'm hoping,
yeah,
or maybe what I'm saying is true. Maybe that he feels that that's a big payday, and if he gets beat, he makes a shitload of money, and it don't look
yeah.
as bad as losing to NUA or Leo Santa Cruz or someone like that.
Hey, Kelly, we have unified world champion, former unified world champion, and Boxing International Boxing Hall of Fame Orlando Canizales on the page. He said,
What's up,
greetings, my
Orlando?
brothers. What's up, champ? It's great to
Oh
see you on
yeah.
the page. What an honor to have you on here.
I think I got to send him another friend request from my new Facebook.
I know, right? He comes, shit. But like I love having Orlando on here. He's like a treasure chest of boxing.
Mm-hmm. That's he got like like Mickey Mantle and Yogi Bear and all them
Yeah,
guys were like
yeah,
baseball names with the
yeah.
Yankees. That's like Orlando Canizales is like that Yankee name for boxing.
Dude, you know what I said? He was Lomachenko before there was a Lomachenko.
It's true.
It was.
We're not sucking up too much,
No,
Orlando.
we're
So
not
don't
sucking
don't.
your we're not sucking your dick. Don't get too cocky. You're just one of my favorite fighters.
You're a
Hey,
great fighter.
Orlando, after Michael Carvajal, you're my next favorite. Bro.
Uncle Sham says Inoue versus Shakur Stevenson, or are you
I
too far apart in weight?
No, Inuit's moving up. But right now, I don't know if Shakur's experienced enough for that. Do you? But I don't know, man. I don't
That's a
know.
fight.
Dude, that's a
I would
good
have. I
fight.
think Shakur is a bigger. So I gotta give it to Shakur on that. I
Yeah,
think Shakur. Well, you know what? Shakur's boxing is his technique is great too. Plus, with that size, if they were naturally the same size, I
yeah.
say, man, that's a good one.
Furman or Orlando said, "No, man, I'm just going trying to get it." No, Orlando, you're one of my favorite fighters in history. I'm just great having you on here.
Yeah, it's
Furman
fantastic,
Orlando had was a
fantastic fighter.
badass. Hey, you know what? I met Orlando Canizales when I won the Texas State Championship in '94. I met him in Galveston, I believe, or somewhere Padre Island. He was fighting Sergio Reyes the next day outdoors on the beach.
Yeah,
I met him the day before. He came out and met all the amateur champions, and it was awesome meeting him. I was like, holy
I
shit!
know.
I was talking big shit too.
Oh, it's
Uh,
fun. It's always great to share, get his insights on stuff too. That's why.
and being 14 years old, 15 years old, getting to meet him was huge. Um, Kelly Stevenson or says Guadalupe says, "What's your take on Tim Tszyu, Kostya's son?"
I don't know. He looked pretty
He
good.
looked, he looked good against Horn, didn't he?
It's too. I mean, it's just too. I don't know.
Early,
Yeah, it's too early.
but Horn, the way he beat Horn and the way he overpowered him, he looked like his dad. Just I think a little more loose, a little less of that Russian style. He looked good.
Yeah.
Um, Esteban says, "Mark my words. People thinking that LSC is going to be a walk in the park for Tank are dead wrong. I have that as a razor close fight. Leo Santa Cruz and Tank is not going to be a close fight. You are looking at a war."
That's. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I really am, and that's still a hard one to pick too. I mean, I know who
Dude,
I'm leaning towards in that one, but that's another 50-50 fight. That's a toss up.
for
Anything can
me,
happen.
for me, it depends what Tank comes in. If you get the motivated Tank that's in shape, Leo could be in trouble.
Well, when
If
did you ever get really? When did you get a motivated tank that came in on weight when like at that level?
I know, but when I'm giving him, I'm just saying if. But with Leo, you know what you're getting. You know you're getting a guy that's throwing 1,200 punches that's
Yeah,
never been hurt or knocked down or anything. You know you got an animal there, and Leo could make a bad night for Tank. Could embarrass him.
yeah.
It could be like a Barrera, Nassim Ahmed type thing. You know what I mean?
But I think a lot of people look. Here's what I was really thinking about. Tank had tremendous power, but Tank is a slick, fast fighter too.
Yeah,
And again, that negates the punch output. And
yeah.
like I said, the same reason why I thought Gary Russell would give Leo could beat Leo in a good fight, a toss up. But I pick Gary Russell in that. That's another thing I'm seeing with Tank Davis. The only thing with Tank is I don't think he's quite in condition like
Yeah,
Gary Russell, and I don't think he has the hand speed Gary Russell does, but he still
no.
has super fast hands.
And it's hard too. Furman said you should have Orlando Canizales on the show. It's up to Orlando. He has an open spot on the show. He can call it any time. If he
Yeah,
wants to come on, shit. Uh,
we
Dana
love
says
to.
take. Dana says take by KO, like he did Gamboa. Dana, you know what I mean? He couldn't put Gamboa out of his misery, and now he's going to beat a guy who's never been dropped or hurt by anybody. I don't think it's going to be that easy.
Uncle Shannon says Eubank Jr. Yeah, and Gamboa is the guy who's able to get
Gamboa
stopped.
survived that shit
Yep, Uncle Shannon said Eubank Jr. has been training with Roy Jones. I want to see him fight Charlo. I want to
um
see
I
Charlo
don't
fight anybody tough.
I haven't seen the Charlos really fight anybody. They've been pros for
Yeah,
7 years
Tank's biggest flaw seems to be that he doesn't throw that many punches.
because he's
That's
not in
and
shape.
that's yep, and that's the reason why I'm going with, or so far right now I'm going towards Leo Santa Cruz because of that reason. Again, I gave the breakdown with why I thought Gary Russell could beat Leo Santa Cruz because Gary Russell showed me against Jojo Diaz what he's
Yeah.
got. Um, Tank hasn't shown me that yet against the guy
Well,
with the punch output that Leo Santa Cruz has.
let's put this in perspective, Kelly. Tank threw 269 punches his last fight, the whole fight, right? Leo threw 1,200 his last fight. He's throwing, 5 times more shots nearly than Tank is
Yeah.
with power.
Um, what do you think, Tank versus Haney?
I think I don't. For me, Tank has such a good upside, and he can be better than anybody in the sport if he was in shape and would show me he was motivated to fight. That's the thing. Tank is special, but he doesn't have that the discipline. You know what I mean? So I'd
Yeah.
have to go with Haney right now. Hey,
Yep.
Amber, how are you?
Tank is great. Uncle Sham says there is video of Tank versus Tiafimo sparring on YouTube.
Yep.
It's worth watching. I think Tiafimo did better.
Dana says he didn't train for that fight. He was in the same strip club as me 3 weeks before. Exactly my point. Bad habits stay the same bad habits. If he's in that strip club, you think he's gonna beat? You think he's gonna beat Leo Santa Cruz?
You got pictures of it on a date?
No, I believe he's in there. I believe that Tank was in there. But
Young Yoda
but
says Tank could have stopped him easy.
then why didn't he?
That's
If
not
he could
right.
have, why didn't he?
Believe me,
Nobody
every
wants.
fight, 99% of fighters want to get the guys out of there.
Nobody wants to prolong their paycheck. You know what I mean?
Nope. Nobody
Kelly,
wants
let
to
me
take
ask you this:
chances.
if you could have got Jermaine Taylor out of there in 3, would you have instead of 7?
If I could have got Jermaine Taylor out of there before the fight started, I would have.
Nobody, when
Fucking
they
me.
say, when people say he could have got him out or whatever, no, nobody wants these fights to prolong. They don't want to take the chance. Nobody wants to get hit. It fucking hurts.
Yep.
Isaac has a good point, and we've talked about this. Santa Cruz will throw more punches than Tank. What do you think about the wrist twist? That is it. That twist, I've seen it. We've seen it before. It has nothing to do with his punches. He doesn't time himself off that wrist twist. You'll never time him from that. It's
Okay.
more. It's just a twitch.
Okay. So where the difference comes on that, again, going back, and I'm going to use this because we had this argument with Russell. When you have a guy who's as fast as Russell and who could punch in between, that's different.
Yeah,
That could stop a lot of punches,
yeah,
a high punch output.
yep,
Tank don't do that enough, and Tank ain't going to come in and engage enough, in my opinion, to really slow down Leo that much. Because
yeah,
if he does do that, then he better be in shape to do it for 12 rounds. Um, as where Gary Russell has showed that he can do that and that he can
yeah.
do that for 12 rounds.
Darren or Davis said, nah, him and my people was cool. Yeah, I mean, I love Tank. His publicist is Lauren's one of our friends. Lauren's a good guy, so I love Tank. But let's
Yeah.
be real. I mean, if you're not in shape for a guy against Leo, you're gonna have a rough night.
Fuck
I
yeah!
mean, Fred,
It was kind of like when I was telling you about when I fought James Webb in the
yeah,
amateurs.
yeah,
Guy
we
first
talked
round,
about
I
that
went
today.
out there and I was popping him and boxing, and then the second round he threw 500 punches in 30 seconds. The second
Yeah,
round there was nothing I could do. I wasn't used to that.
yeah. And I told you he was my team captain in the army. That guy could fight. Um,
Remember that
da-
fight? By James Webb.
yeah. Darren says, Kelly. Darren says Tank seems like a guy that blows up in between fights and then has to spend camp losing weight.
Glenbuterol solved that problem. Yeah, he does. Again, it's not knocking Tank. Do I think Tank is hurting himself with that? Yeah, Tank has. I mean, here's a guy that's fast, slick,
It's hard.
hits, great defense, the whole package. I think that weight thing, and I don't know if that's just a habit or a strategy of his. I don't know, but I think it's going to hurt if he's not training as hard as he says he is. That's going to catch up to him, especially when he starts really getting in fight
Yeah.
after fight with a high level guy.
Hey, Kelly. Felix says, so what about the link I sent you, James? Without the fight being for 2 belts or 2 weights, have you ever seen anything like that? It's a safety net for Tank for sure. They're making the lightweight and the junior lightweight championship belt both on the line and only fighting in one weight class, is what he's saying. For me, I've never seen them put a 135 belt up at a 135. I've never seen that before.
Now, I've never seen two weight class belts
Yeah,
up
they're
like
doing
that.
that. They're fighting 2 belts in one weight class, which I've never even heard of.
I haven't either.
But
Um,
I know Leo has a great manager, and there is going to be a hydration clause in this fight. Tank is not going to get up to 165 after win. He's only going to do 10%. And also, I know that there's like a $200,000 fine for every pound he's over. So let's go ahead and come in 2 or 3 pounds heavier, see what happens.
yeah, I don't see Leo's camp allowing that to happen. Young Yoda says Adrian Broner effect, and he has a laugh. Uncle Sham, Tank is an ironic nickname because he fights like he doesn't have that much in his gas tank.
Isaac Ramirez's fake taxi.
That was a good one, Uncle Sham.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was.
at first I was kind of like, nice try, but yeah, it was funny.
Isaac Romero says fake taxi. The fake taxi shirt. Harvey says that's the difference between good and great. The great ones have skill and discipline. That's what separates the best from all-time greats, from good to great fighters. Esteban says, have you talked to Roger Romo lately? Well, that's my family. I talk to him we talk almost every day, but I haven't heard from him
Yeah.
for about a week. He's been busy with TJ, with Dillashaw, so I haven't really.
Yeah, James Burrell got a good question.
Yeah,
He goes, "How many days per week did you guys train in camp, and how important does it stay in on recovery days?"
it depends as an amateur pro. Let Kelly answer that one.
Yeah, recovery days is important. That's really important. Recovery with anything. If you're a power lifter, if you're a bodybuilder, if you're a boxer, um, when you're training and when you're using the muscles like that, how muscles regrow and get strong or get endurance is you tear them down and
Yep.
they tear down and then the rebuilding process. So the food that you put in, the protein, the rest, the recovery,
Yeah.
um, that's what the muscles come back and they rebuild bigger, stronger, and leaner. That's how muscle works. That's how the body works. That's
Yeah.
why it's important, and that's why it's also important to have that rest day because if you don't give the muscles time to recoup and rebuild, then you actually what you start doing is tearing them down more without recovery at all. And that's where they say you're
Yep.
better off being out of shape than being in too good a shape like that because
True.
it actually deteriorates the muscle. And you actually go into the catabolic state and all the other all that high terminology
Yep.
they use, but that's what it is. So your rest day is really, really important. And me and my pops, I mean, we had it down. Like I ate pretty good on my recovery day.
Yeah.
I laid down, I carved up. That one day for the amount of training that I was doing was not hurting me at all for that.
I know for me, training at Oxnard was the hardest I've ever trained when I was a kid. We would train 6 days a week and we took Sundays off.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
usually the
Sundays,
go-to.
the Sunday's like the big day for everybody. Is the rest day recoup.
But even our Saturdays wasn't a hard training day. There was no sparring. It was swimming or a run. It wasn't real big. So you're
Yeah.
putting in 5 days of hard training. The other 2 days is kind of easier.
What I would do with that on Saturday too, I kind of agree with that. I would do like if my guy missed a day of sparring that week or
Yeah.
whatnot, that would be the only thing he would do on that Saturday was spar.
Spar.
If
Yep.
if he sparred throughout the week, then the only thing I would do is take him to a track and kind of be a
Running.
short day, like a fast mile, some
Yep.
wind sprints,
One
and
sprints
call it quits.
or a swim. We go swimming or even sauna, just something to stay relaxed, massage or something to stay relaxed. But you're right, Kelly. Your diet is the main thing. It's 99% of training. The
Yeah,
diet
it
is.
is.
Um, Rocco says, "Who's got the best footwork in boxing?" I say Lomachenko.
Yeah, Lomachenko, um, Mikey's up there.
Mikey. Um, um, there's
This
so
young
many good.
kid, this young kid that
Bam
Bam.
Rodriguez. Yeah, Bam Rodriguez.
There's a lot
I,
of guys. Going on that when we were talking about
Teofimo has fantastic footwork.
difference between old school and new school, and all these people hop on the old school. What people ain't realizing is these guys today, they're technically sound
Yeah,
differently. They're the angles, the foot movement, all that. I mean, it's just a totally different
yeah.
tactics that these guys got today.
Esteban says, "Do you guys mention swimming? Do any fighters do bike riding during camp?" I'm happy you asked. Yes, Leo Santa Cruz rides bikes and he does elliptical because Leo doesn't run. Leo Santa
Sergio
Cruz does.
Martinez used to.
Sergio Martinez did it too. Leo doesn't like to run, so Leo does everything but run. He swims, elliptical, and he bike rides, and he does
Yeah,
he
low
does
impact.
he does sprints, but he doesn't run long distances.
Uncle Sham says, I disagree about Teofimo footwork. I think he could be better at cutting off ring.
That's that's it comes with experience. But watch when he's in the ring. Watch
Yeah,
look when he's in and out. Look how hard he is to hit.
how he positions himself and
Yep,
everything.
yep. So I mean, cutting off the ring is fantastic. That is part of footwork, but it comes with experience and time.
Yep.
Kelly, I think
Uh,
you're out of. Yeah, there you go.
yeah, we gotta wrap up because we're gonna get we're probably going to cut out on the one, anyways.
Cool. Well, I'm ready whenever you are.
So we
Hey
don't want to
guys,
cut you. We don't want to cut you guys short.
no, great show today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. There is no show without you guys. We have the best
Absolutely.
fans in the world. I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, great. Thanks for tuning in. Go to YouTube, subscribe, share, ring that damn bell.
And hit that little thing, yeah, the like
A
too.
little
You gotta
mitt
do
for
that.
ringing that bell.
I
All
think
right.
short floor has good footwork too, Harvey. I agree. Thank you, Esteban. Hey guys, great show tonight. Thank you.
Have a
Thank you,
good one,
Amber.
guys.
All
Till
right.
next week.
Talk to you soon, Scott.